Now, let's welcome him to the show. Coop from
Boom.
Fiefguild. Thank you for being
Hey,
here. Welcome to In the Club. It's an honor to have you, man. Thank you.
thanks, guys. It's an honor to be here. It's probably the most unique Web3 show that I know of.
Thank
And
you, man.
also, shout out to the Miss Doubtfire um, sound in the beginning of that song, or your DJ set. It was great.
Yeah, that's one of my
It's
that's
great.
one of my own personalized sound effects that I've been using for years. And thank you for noticing. That's one of my favorites too. So I appreciate the Boogie in the chat likes it too. So cool deal, man. Well, Coop, welcome to the show. You are with Fief Guild, who are of course the first economic guild of the metaverse. So very cool. And you and Firestorm go way back. So I don't want to take any of the juice here because we can get into your story, which is something I want to touch on if we could. But you guys, let's get back into what Firestorm was talking about a second ago. He claims that he used to get the alpha from you, and Firestorm is my guy who I'm like, hey man, I need you to drop some alpha. So what's up? You know what I mean? So this is great. So you guys, Firestorm, are you still there? Is your signal still strong? Oh, we may have lost him. His signal is kind of spotty. Okay, so let's take a
I
few
can give you
steps
some
back.
context if you want around what he was talking about. Yeah.
Well, how about this, man? I get so excited because I drink so much coffee, and I had to take some Benadryl earlier because my allergies are going crazy. So you know how that goes. So let's start at the start and tell us about yourself. Tell us about how you got into crypto, how you came to work with Fief Guild, and maybe we can touch on your kind of ongoing beef with that best coder NA guy.
Yeah, sounds good. So I've been in marketing for about a decade and mostly in e-commerce. So selling things online, kind of the same thing I do now, except the products are digital now. About a year ago now, I was getting into Avalanche. And originally, my first move into crypto was around Ethereum. I wasn't that into Bitcoin really, but I loved the idea of Ethereum, smart contracts, doing things trustlessly.
Sure.
And decentralized. But I wasn't, a whale at that point, and I didn't feel like I could spend a lot on gas fees. So I never really did that much on Ethereum until later on. And when I discovered Avalanche, I was like, this is great. Like, it's cheap. I can easily do transactions and not feel like I'm wasting all my money just trying things.
Sure.
So I tried all sorts of things once I found Avalanche, and that really pulled me in. I was like, this is awesome. This is the future. And so I started joining Twitter Spaces, and I have one of those like classic stories of basically getting hired out of Twitter Spaces. I joined a Pangolin AMA, and it was about careers in Web3, and raised my hand and said, I don't know anything about coding, like not that big on tech, but I have marketing experience. What can I do? And Leo, who we'll talk about later, actually hired me off of that conversation. So that was my first job in Web3. And it was really around Twitter marketing and writing blog posts, all that. Yep. And after that, Leo actually left and brought me with him to Fief Guild. So again, same idea. It was like helping to run marketing, making memes, building up the community.
Yep.
And now that's really evolved. And probably one of the coolest parts about working in Web3, I'd say right now, is that you don't just sit within your strict role. Like, there's a lot of opportunity to do other things. So we came up with this idea of like the Fief library, which is basically like the IGN for Web3 gaming. And
awesome.
Now I'm helping to build that out. So that's kind of my starter story. Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing, man. That's that I hear a lot of echoes of kind of where I'm at. You know what I mean? Because awesome. It was a similar thing for me. I mean, it's a little bit different, but I was, marketing myself. I mean, I was a career DJ. So it's like, when you're self-employed and you're in the music field, it's all about marketing yourself. And same deal. You know what I mean? It was just kind of a thing where I know marketing. I'm not super, almost exactly what you said, man. I don't know a lot about tech. I don't, I'm still kind of green in a lot of ways, but I know this aspect of it, and I am willing to learn and ready to build. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I think that, so like, I would just want to emphasize that for people watching. We've had a lot of guests come through and kind of emphasize the same thing. Guys, if you're looking to get involved in this space, come get involved. Just make sure you're bringing something to the table.
Yeah,
so
totally.
That's my little aside. Sorry about that.
And everyone starts at somewhere. So if you don't know that much, you can learn. Yeah.
Exactly, man. Exactly. That's awesome. So, so Leo actually brought you into work with Fiefguild after your initial hire, off the Twitter Spaces. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. It's been a good story. I mean, Leo and I, go way back, and now we've got this little feud. I think started around, moving to Fiefguild is moving a lot of the contracts to Ethereum. So I think
we wanted to talk about that for sure. Yeah. Well, that you guys are pretty vicious. If you guys just for the chat and for our viewers, if we could, production, could we put Coop's Twitter handle on screen, please? You can find him on Twitter, and we also see right down below us. And nice. One of our former guests, he's talking about Leo. His Twitter handle is best coder, and the best coder in North America. And these guys have a vicious Twitter. I mean, they're talking about each other in friendly terms, but they have a pretty vicious meme war going on Twitter.
Well, Leo really started it all. I mean, he's going after everybody.
Like, he kind of is, man. I see his time. I'm like, look at Mr. Saucy over here, Mr. Spicy.
He got really saucy. I mean, it was probably months ago. He came back to Twitter. Like, he took a little break, I felt, and then he came back and he's just started beef with everybody. He tries to kill little Chef Goose like every day. And it's all on him. I mean, I'm happy to be friends.
Yeah, you're just like, that's how I am, man. I'm like, I use Twitter for the good stuff, the good parts.
Yeah, exactly.
And I understand when the beefs happen. But yeah, you guys, if you want to see some good meme warring, please check out exchanges between our past guest Leo, Best Coder NA, and Coop here on Twitter. And follow them both. Make sure you're listening to Week in Avalanche. That's something that I listened to quite a bit when I was, trying to learn about the space. So,
yeah, I feel like that. I mean, being a part of Week in Avalanche has actually helped me learn so much, because we get like 5, really smart people who actually know so much about the industry and just talk about what's happening. And so I get to like be the marketing voice in that conversation, but I just learn, and it's really good. Yeah.
Dude, it's so funny that you're saying this, because you and I, again, echoing the same sentiment as the marketing guys in this space, because I call that big brain time. We have that happen a lot here on the show, where we'll have a guest, someone like you, very smart person. And unfortunately, it looks like we lost Firestorm's signal. So hopefully we can get him back before the end of the show, but he is, I don't know if you know this, he does broadcast from Jupiter, so he's in kind of a strange position. So hopefully we can get him back. But Boogie, our guy Boogie, just dropped both your Twitter handles in there as well. But it's kind of the same thing for me, man. Big brain time whenever Firestorm and someone who's deep in the crypto space start going off. My brain gets so big that I have to take off my hat, because it doesn't, you know what I mean? So, so I definitely identify with that. And I thank you for echoing that, because sometimes I feel like, boy, am I just really dumb, or what's going on?
No, totally. And I mean, they need us too. Like, I think a lot of the people in Web3 that they know the smart contracts, they know the finance, but they don't realize that they need customers, and that customers don't just pop out of thin air and, find your product. You have to put stuff out there. So doing the library, like, there's just different ways of bringing those customers in. And we're getting to the point where that might be some of the most important work in crypto. Dude, because
it's up there. I mean, I think that if you're trying, like, I really think that when it comes to mass adoption, you're going to need guys like us. So I would say, again, just to piggyback off what I was saying before, bring something to the table. If you want to get into the Web3 space, if you want to get into the crypto space, that marketing experience that Leo and I are talking about right now, I mean, you can't create users out of thin air. So, that's what we're both striving for. And like I said, it's if it's all going to happen, we're going to need to work together on it. So yeah, man, thanks for saying that. I definitely agree. And so what's going on at Fiefguild right now? I mean, you guys are moving to ETH. Like what prompted that? Like what's going on?
Yeah. Well, first off, we have a lot going on behind the scenes that we aren't really talking about it publicly.
Sure.
And part of that is like just the bear market. We don't need to go shill ourselves. It's not going to like move the needle on token price or anything. Like just keep building, and eventually we'll just show that at the right time. The ETH move is like a couple of reasons. I'd say the first is just market size. Like I think we started on Avalanche because of the tech, and felt like it had potential to move faster than Ethereum.
Sure.
But at this stage, we just see that ETH has a lot more eyeballs, a lot more money, and it's not really shifting in the way that I think we originally had hoped. So it's just about money and the size of the market and being where those people want to be. So that's a big part of it. Second part that's kind of aligned with that is the number of games that are launching in various places. Like we are seeing games come to Avalanche, but we're seeing more games go to layer 2s like GameStop and Immutable with GameStop and Polygon. And part of that is just money again. Like those teams have $500 million funds specifically for gaming. So it's hard to compete. And we want to be, we're not just a game ourselves. We're part of a bigger ecosystem. So felt like we needed to be there. And then the last part was like subnets and feeling like the way that they're set up to be, on their own and siloed a little bit. Like we're not sure how NFT games will work in that way. Like our NFT is going to be on the C chain. And then if the game's on a subnet, like what's the experience there? And is that something that we can even build for, or does it require us to be on every subnet? Like how does that work? We're not really sure. So it's those couple of things. That being said, like we're still on Avalanche.
No, totally. I mean,
our marketplace and everything.
Controversial to be sure. I'm not trying to but it was obviously it's something big that's happening over at Fiefguild, and so we obviously wanted to talk about it. I just did get word, unfortunately, that the signal from Jupiter is there's a windstorm on Jupiter today.
Yeah, bummer. And, all right, that's okay.
He's sitting up there like Dr. Manhattan, just a little axolotl that's on fire. He's watching the windstorm going, I wish I could talk to these guys about fun stuff, but signal's just too bad.
He has rocked that profile picture for forever. I think like I have a hard time with that. Like I'm always changing it up, but that's his identity.
I've had mine for a long time. I love my Dexalot PFP, but I have considered changing it recently. I don't know if I don't know if I can do it though, man. I'm kind of attached at this point. You know what I mean?
It's better not to. I mean, it is your identity in a way. Like
branding.
For branding, I have so much ADD that I'm just jumping from thing to thing. I'm trying to stick with this one for a while.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Well, okay. So, I understand what you're saying. I mean, everything you're saying makes a lot of sense. And I guess I get why Leo is just going for the throat these days.
I know he's bitter about it. Yeah. he's an AVAX guy like through and through. I mean, he's been loyal and hardworking on the Avalanche network, and
God bless him, man. Well, he'll continue with the roasting. So we'll be looking for that. You said if you guys missed it earlier, both Coop and our former guest Leo, their Twitter accounts are in the chat. So if you want to see some good meme warring, you can hit that up. So moving on really quick. I mean, we've been talking about tons of games over here on this stream. We actually have a game stream first Thursday of every month. We're doing Dexalot Got Game, and we do gameplay and talk with up and coming teams in the space. And we've had some. I mean, there's so many. I've been like looking at a lot of games lately and just being really amazed at how far they've come and how great they look and how they look close to, we're really like, we're this close to like that AAA Web 2 look.
Totally.
You know what I mean? And so I guess for you, like, what games are you most excited about right now in the Web 3 space?
Yeah. Well, there's such different ones, I guess. Like I'm actually really into the other side, which is the Bored Apes, metaverse. I think that is going to be pretty cool. Like just from the test demos that we've seen, it's thousands of people in one place without lag and for everybody, and it's just a cool experience, very unique. And they're obviously one of the best teams in Web3. So I'm excited for that. Might be a little ways off. And then I'm just going to give two others that I'm excited for. Illuvium is pretty cool looking. They have this concept that it's a battle, a strategic battle game. I forget the actual name, where you're basically like playing chess, auto chess type thing, except you have your various characters, and they just look really cool. Like the animations are awesome. And then they have this other part of it where it's like, yes, it's mostly an auto battler, but there's a whole world where you have your character and you can like run around and do stuff in. And I think that concept is really cool, because I've just in Web 2 games, I don't get into the battlers that much because it lacks the bigger world and there's no like immersion for me. So I'm into that. And then the last one is the Avalanche native one, Pulsar. So I think Pulsar has a really cool opportunity there with like the idea of an existing world that stays in place, but it's still an RTS, and that's pretty unique in itself. And then I think they have a good vision for NFTs, and I like pretty much everything about what they're doing.
I would definitely agree. They are a friend of the stream, friend of Dexalot. We are strategic partners with the Pulsar crew. And shout out to Garrison and Alvaro, man. They've been on the stream a couple, Alvaro has been on the stream a couple times, but I was very, very impressed with their beta. Our producer, actually, Jun, played the game live, and he's kind of a boss. He's kind of a god gamer in those games.
Nice.
Yeah. He didn't even play a shield. He was just like, shields are for casuals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and he did really well. So we're really excited about that game. I'm just trying to say, like, it's a dope game. Like, you guys are gonna like when you do get to play it, you're gonna love it. So I would agree there. And there's also I'm really into like as far as like Web 2 games go. I've always been like a Dark Souls, like Sword and Shield kind of guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really love like the look of like Elderune and Ascenders and games like that. So yeah, I'm really excited about like everything that's going on, man. It's just moving in such an ill direction, and it's like, it's so exciting to see, especially like not being, I guess native to the crypto world or the finance world, and then coming in and seeing like what they're doing with gaming. I'm
even proud of like even the ones where it was kind of like, oh shit, that didn't really work out, like Axie, or Travitas still has an opportunity, but Axie specifically, it's like they've had tons of issues around tokenomics and then the bridge hack, but they're still building, and now it's like looking like it's coming together in good ways. And so I think, everything's moving in the right direction. The only problem is that games take a long time, right, to actually put together. But that's one of the reasons I'm so into Pulsar, is like they didn't start marketing until they're like nearly ready. And so I think that it's hard to do that, but it's cool.
It is. It's hard to sit on things you're excited about. There's no question. Especially in the developmental phases, but those guys, I remember, you might not know this, but this was actually the first place they demoed.
I remember that actually.
And everything. Yeah, it was great. So you guys, it's on our YouTube if you're looking for it. YouTube.com/Dexalot. We've got all the In the CLOB interviews up there, and a bunch of other tutorials and the Pulsar demo. But in any case, I just remember one of the main things that stuck out to me that we've talked to them about is that, they're working with people who came from the Web 2 world and got involved in Web 3 gaming and said, hey, this is what I'm doing now. And, we're talking about, AAA people who worked at AAA gaming companies who are now, using their skill sets to bring Web3 gaming to life. And it's super exciting to see. So, yeah, man. But that kind of speaks to my next question. Like, I kind of wanted to talk about, like, from your end, like, what do you see as like the biggest problem to be solved for GameFi right now?
It's getting into a place where Web 2 gamers are interested in playing without any care about Web 3. It's like, Web 3 is still so small.
Yes.
And a good game can't really thrive without the millions that don't give a shit about it. So about Web 3. So it's, how do we onboard them?
Yep.
But not only that, but like, how do we get them to want to play when they know there's NFTs or they hear there's NFTs? Because it's still such a big, like,
huge stigma.
Yeah, it's huge stigma. And so part of that is marketing. Part of it's just, we need the games that are so soft on Web3 or offer like totally separate ramps for non-Web3 people to start to show them that that's okay. And I think it's going to take a while. Like, honestly, I wouldn't want to be the first game that is like doing that right, because I just think there's still going to be so much stigma. It's going to take like 1 or 2 games for people to be like, oh, I played that, actually was like pretty good. And then that spreads, and eventually some game down the road is able to like take advantage of all that.
Man, that's pretty much been, it's so funny because that's been exactly how I've kind of been approaching it too. And, to me, whenever that comes up, it's like, I feel like depending on who you ask that question to, the answer would be very different, right?
Yeah.
But to marketing guys like us, we're like, how are we going to get the most people to play this, right? And so, 100%, man. Yeah. But so there's a lot, obviously a lot going on with the with GameFi, a lot going on with Fiefguild. And a lot going on with you, man. Congrats on all your success. And I know how it feels to come into this this Web3 world and be learning as you go. So you've got a kindred spirit over here on the Dexalot squad.
I appreciate that.
Of course, man. Of course. And we appreciate you coming on the show.
We
were going to talk about the I do want to do, you're here. Why don't we can get some of your takes on this, or at least show you the what we've got going. John, can you put our I don't know if you saw this, Coop, but we have a new roadmap that we announced yesterday. We got a lot of big stuff coming for 2022. A lot of people are like, you guys got a lot of stuff in 22. And we're like, yes, we do. So if you wouldn't mind, John, can you throw that up on the screen right now? That our producer did this amazing image. If you want to check this out, I personally think it's some of his best work that he's ever done. This is our guy who has designed everything Dexalot related that you've seen. If you notice, the NFT that we have that we did with Lost Worlds, the collab that we did with Lost Worlds for the Red Bull Soapbox race, that is the Subnet Speedster, and Dexter is hitting the road in his Subnet Speedster. So in case you guys didn't know, Dexalot does have Core Wallet integration. The Core app is amazing. And so you can use it on the Subnet testnet. Hit our Medium page, medium.com/Dexalot. We've got all the instructions up there. So private testing, we did a little private testing. I did some private testing. Let me tell you about how fast this thing, it's really fast. It's really fast. See, it was so fast, I didn't even finish my sentence before I said how fast it was. You see what I did there? But yeah, Subnet, like, I can't wait for the public testing. There it is. Dexalot dropped it in there. How did you do that? Oh, our producer did that. I'm like, I thought I was the only one who could type in there. Anyway, and then Subnet, user incentive program, yield bearing orders. We're going to have the new user interface, and of course, coming in 2023, perpetuals, multi-chain, and the mobile app. So things are happening in the Dexalot office over here, guys. It's popping. We're going off on a daily. It's all fire emojis and rocket chip emojis all the time. You know what I mean? So Um, but anyway, if you want to see that image again, you can hit our Twitter. It's Dex at Dexalot.com, like community. See what we did? And shout out to John Toiger, our designer, who absolutely crushed that and absolutely crushes the production on this show every time. Thanks again, John. But Coop, one more question for you, man. Well, two more questions. Would you ever? Oh, looks like he's frozen. Coop, you there? Yeah. Oh, you froze for a second.
Yeah.
Would you ever come back and talk about gaming and what's going on with Fiefguild? You want to come back to the show?
Yeah, let's do it.
We'd love to have you, man. That'd be awesome. Okay. And before you go, I want to thank you for coming. And this was a really cool conversation for me personally, as another guy, marketing guy in the blockchain marketing space. It was really fun for me. So before you go, I need to get a song request because I'm going to jump back on the turntables in a minute to end the show. No pressure. You know, if you don't have anything off the top of your head, I don't want to.
Okay. I was just listening to a song called The Drop, and it's there's a bunch of people on it. Dimitri Vegas and David Guetta.
Okay. John, can you do the David Guetta, Dimitri Vegas drop? Can you get that for me? Or do you like the house music? Is that your vibe? Cool, man. I'll jump into some house stuff. I was doing that earlier. So I think I got an idea, guys.
Okay.
So one more time, chat. W for Coop in the chat. Thank you for coming on the show. This has been awesome. And if we could run Coop's Twitter account one more time. Oh, Boogie's giving you the W. There we go. You can find them there. You can find them at Fiefguild. And Brad McFall with multiple W's for you. Oh, man, you're getting all the W's over here, Coop.
Nice. All right. Good W's. Thanks, guys.
Good dubs for the guy, man. I love it. All right, Coop, thanks so much for being here. Dude, we got to have you back in the club sometime. So come back.
Right? Yeah, let's do it. All right. Thanks for having me. Bye.
You bet. See you next time.